Ke lei mai lau kaulai ke kai e. Ke malama o ni haua mali e. A mali e pa e inu waila. E inu maila. Na hala o nau e i ke kai. No nau e ka hala. No puna ka wahine, no kalua, no ikilawe. Aloha mai kako, I'm Vicky Holt Takamine. I'm the kumuhula or master teacher of Hawaiian dance. To my right is my son, my youngest son, Jeff Kanikaivilani Takamine. And to my left is my granddaughter, Nicole Kalehiva Okeli Iokaloa Takamine, and both are also practitioners. Hula has been really important in helping to preserve and perpetuate all kinds of cultural practices. In the halau, we learn how to make our own leis, we learn how to print using traditional methods of printing, we learn how to make food.
You know, the practice of hula in the context of preserving our language, preserving the knowledge base of Hawaiian culture is tied to the text and the chants in hula. You know, without text and an understanding of the words of the chant, there is no motion. The motion is influenced by the text. Within that text are place names, are plants, are names of the winds and the rains of the island areas, which we translate into motion as a presentation in hula. So you're telling that story.
Our ancestors centuries ago did not have a written language. So it was passed down through the oral traditions of chant, mo'olelo, storytelling, hula. And through those oral traditions, we have decades, centuries of history and knowledge. I like to go look in the ulukau.org or look in the Hawaiian language newspapers for older mele and bring those stories and those chants back to this generation. Because if we don't go dig up those the words of our ancestors, then it just sits there on paper, then it doesn't live. But if we give life to it, and we give movement and leo and the hula to it, then it will live on in the next generation. So right now we've got 3 generations here. So I will know that the things that I create today will be carried on by my son Jeffrey and will be carried on by my granddaughter.
I heard a saying that was kind of along the lines of, how are you going to learn someone else's language when you don't really know your own language or your own culture? That kind of sparked my interest on learning more about my culture and the language, because my great-grandmother was going through a time where being Hawaiian was kind of looked down upon. They were kind of forced out of their language and out of their culture. So I think that it was hard for my great-grandmother during that time, and I think that it's still kind of hard for her today.
And while my grandmother was fluent in Ka'olelo Hawaii, she was fluent in the language. She had 10 children. The language was stolen from my family. It was lost from my father's generation. Nobody shared the language with me, but I'm really fortunate that the next generation and Nicole's generation picked it up so well and continues that tradition.
Hula has been a familial tie for us. Obviously, my grandmother, my mom's mom, was a hula dancer. My mom and her sister uniki together from Halau Hula o Maiki. And then mom started Pua Ali'i Lima, which is the halau that we have now. And I helped teach as a kumuhula of Pua Ali'i Lima. For me, it was more of a responsibility, recognizing that the Hawaiian language and cultural practices went through this period of almost extinction. And I look at it as a way for me to be able to preserve the knowledge that has been passed down through the generations and to continue to protect that, either through teaching or through practice. Everybody has a role in the luau. Everybody has a role in any performances that we do, whether it's going out to gather lauae or palapalai or doing an imu. We all participate and we all do what we can to contribute. And over time, it's like you get more and more comfortable with the process. The driving force is, again, the preservation and the perpetuation of our Hawaiian culture. That progression of knowledge being passed down is very important, that I think a lot of people tend to forget. Yeah.
So yesterday, we were inspired, a song came up on our little playlist while we were sitting here in the tent about this place, and I was like, oh, we should create this dance, like for right now. And yesterday when we went back to Halau, we taught it to those that were here, and right now we're going to teach it to everybody, but I want to go up there so that they can see all the place names, because then that's why we do what we do. The place names, you can see it, and the words to the song make a lot of sense. For us, when we learn the hula, that's the best way to learn it. So I'm going to gather them up and take them up there, and they're going to learn it. They may not be perfect for the performance, but it's not about being perfect. It's about being here in this place and understanding that this is a hula that was created just for this place and just for this, just now, just today, yesterday and today. This is what hula is. This is how we get our inspiration and our movements and our mo'olelo. It's from the text, but from the aina itself. Yeah, this is the perfect setting to learn this hula. And we actually had to change we were looking, I was like, no, we cannot do pulleys because the pulley is on that side, so we have to turn to the pulley on this side. When I looked at this, I was thinking about ha'iku that goes from Makai. Usually we go mountain to Makai, but we were up Makai already. So I wanted to bring the motion from here. Hano, hano, because I want you to see that majestic mauna. Yeah? So you're going to take that sweep right forward. Yeah? Stepping from the back. Hano, hano, and leaning forward. Ha'iku. Yeah? And then you're going to kahola back. Ke'i, bring the left hand, the right hand down. Left hand to the eye, and ka'o 2 times. Okay, one more time. Hano, hano. Hano, hano. Ha'iku, and hold. Ke'i, drop the hand. Ka'o, and nestled in the bosom. Yeah. Up and turn. You see the cliff. Start from Keahiakahoi, and you go. Yeah, the right hand up. Keahiakahoi, and you're going turn towards Ioleka'a. Keahiakahoi, kaholo, 1 ka'o. Holo. Da 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 da. Hano, 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 hano. Ha'iku, stay there. Maho, ke'i. Ka'o, turn the hand over.
Ano